What happens when a secretary steals 40 grand in cash from her boss, skips town, and stays at an off-the-beaten-path motel for the night? Well, since she stayed at the Bates Motel, she's murdered in the shower by what appears to be a psychotic, overbearing mother. But as the story progresses, we learn that all is not well at the Bates Motel, and the horror genre as we know it was never the same again. Alfred Hitchcock has had many films considered to be masterpieces, but only one has terrified audiences for nearly 60 years and helped lay the basis for the modern-day slasher film. Time to hop out of the shower, listeners, because it's time for Psycho today on Filmgazm. Happy Wednesday, horror fans. We're back with episode 26, a look back on the enduring legacy of Hitchcock's game-changer 1960s Psycho, as well as its 3 sequels, 1 remake, and 1 prequel series. But first, introductions, if this is your first time tuning in. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre, caretaker of the Bates Motel by day, transvestite serial killer by night. And joining me as always is Austin Johnson, the constant voice in my head telling me to kill anybody who might make me disappoint Mother.
Oh, yeah. At your service, yeah.
Sorry, drifted away there for a second. Anywho, we hope you liked last week's Weird Shit Wednesday edition of Filmgazm, where we rambled on about the Coen brothers and all of their unique films. Coming up on our next Weird Shit Wednesday, episode 30, is A Horse of a Different Color, particularly green and purple. We're talking about the Joker, Batman's greatest nemesis, portrayed on screen by many different men who all brought something different to the role. We'll be diving into the legacy of the Joker and how the comic book villain's casting has been so controversial in the past compared to other villains like the Penguin, Scarecrow, Bane, just to name a few. Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, and soon Joaquin Phoenix, the men who've played the clown prince of crime on the big screen, but we'll also talk animated portrayals, notably Mark Hamill and a few others. Don't miss it, it's going to be a gas. But first, it's time for the Rewind, where we take a look back at past episodes and see if there's any updates worth talking about. And today there certainly is. Our Rewind today takes us back to last week's Coen Brothers extravaganza, particularly to True Grit. I forgot to mention a pretty cool personal story related to the filming of that one. They filmed part of True Grit about 20 minutes away from my family's house in Blanco, Texas, the town that Caleb and I went to high school in. It was about a year before I moved there, but Caleb saw the Coens driving around town, and the Blanco County Courthouse is in the movie, in the scene where Rooster is deposed in court. I voted in that room. Had my prom across the street.
Yeah, man. I grew up. I grew up in a town called Bulverde, not too far from Blanco. So, fucking weird. Yeah, yeah. I was really excited when he told me he was going to say that here on the episode because last week was so much fun. But that's something that's amazing. A personal connection there. So.
Yeah, so neat. I wish I'd been there for that. That
really
would have been amazing.
Really cool. Well, Blanco, Texas.
Oh yeah.
Don't blink or you'll miss it.
Go Panthers. Now, let's get into Psycho. Released in 1960 by famous director Alfred Hitchcock, notably referred to as the master of suspense. Prior to this film, some of his recent hits included 1958's Vertigo and 1958's North by Northwest, both considered absolute classics.
In the same year.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore, do you?
And just after Psycho, he released 1963's The Birds. Talk about a string of fucking hits.
Yeah, and those are the 4 movies I've seen that he's done. I actually don't think I've seen any others, but yeah. Oh, that's pinnacle of his success right there.
Oh my God.
He was killing it.
He could have made just those movies, and he would have been the most, he'd still be as renowned as he is today, but he's done so much more. Of them, other than Psycho, the ones I've seen The Birds, Rear Window.
I have not seen that.
Amazing film.
I've heard all of them.
One of the most intense viewing experiences I've had in a long time. Dial M for Murder, another fantastic.
I haven't seen that either, yeah.
And Strangers on a Train, which fucking blew my mind. That was such a brilliant idea.
And so you haven't seen the 58 ones?
I've not seen Vertigo or North by Northwest. Okay. They've been on my list for years.
So we both have a little work to do?
Yes.
I like that. But we combined, we cover a little bit there. That's good.
Yeah. When we do the Hitchcock podcast in the future, we're going to watch everything. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. That's coming at some point for sure. Of course.
Yeah. I would say Hitchcock did more for the horror genre than any filmmaker in history.
100%. And that's... We're saying that, admittedly, that we haven't seen a lot of his work, but we also understand that how important he is for the genre. Some of this stuff is not easy to access.
No.
It's old. So, but yeah, he's one of those guys. As we both get older and we get more seasoned in the genre,
Yeah.
we're going to tackle all of his films.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I'd say Psycho was his big one, but, I mean, you could say that about so many of his films.
Yeah, and Psycho's so different, we'll get into it, but
Yeah.
he just didn't spend any money on it, and it made so much, and it's just, amazing.
Psycho has had such an enduring legacy, they made a movie about the making of that movie.
Yeah.
2012's Hitchcock,
Yeah.
starring Anthony Hopkins as Alfred Hitchcock and Helen Mirren as his wife, Alma Revel, who also assisted in writing a number of his films and editing them. And that movie's very interesting because it shows just the amount of faith and money Hitchcock poured into this movie.
Yeah.
It was unlike anything he'd ever done. It was unlike anything anybody had ever done.
Yeah.
And he believed in it.
Oh, yeah. He put his neck out for
Yeah.
this story, yeah.
Unbelievable. Regrettably, Hitchcock never won an Oscar in his life, though he was nominated for director 5 times. For 1940's Rebecca, 1944's Lifeboat, 1945's Spellbound, 1954's Rear Window, and for 1960's Psycho. He did win the Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Award in 1968, sort of Lifetime Achievement Award. He died in 1980 at age 80 of kidney failure. Won't go too much into Hitchcock's life or career, as they're both worthy of a full episode, and that will happen.
For sure.
Psycho is based on a 1959 novel by Robert Bloch, which was loosely based on the crimes and murders of Wisconsin killer Ed Gein, which I talked about in the Silence of the Lambs episode. Gein's heinous crimes were the inspiration for Norman Bates in Psycho, Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, and Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Talk about a fucked up human being to inspire that much evil.
It came out of that mind?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I talked a bit about Ed Gein in the Lambs episode, so check that out if you want to know more. Or you could check out where I learned about Ed Gein, the podcast Time Suck with Dan Cummins. Fantastic show, my favorite podcast. Does a great episode on the life and crimes of Ed Gein.
Yes, very nice.
And just, what a twisted son of a bitch. More of a sad sack than anything else.
Yeah. Almost depressed, it seems.
I wouldn't label him a serial killer. I'd label him just disturbed.
Yeah.
Exactly. But, wow. When Hitchcock acquired...
The life of the mind.
Yeah, the life of the mind.
Oh, man.
Little Karl Munt for you. When Hitchcock acquired the rights to the novel, he ordered his assistant to buy up as many copies of the novel as she could find so Hitchcock could preserve the shock ending, which was very important to him. He went to great lengths to make sure people were surprised by this movie.
Crazy.
And Hitchcock believed in this project so much he financed it out of pocket after Paramount rejected his initial proposal, and that was unheard of. And he waived his director's fee in favor of a 60% stake in the film's negative, which...
Man,
he made it back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For it being 1960, this movie made like $50 million, right? It's like
roughly, yeah.
That's a huge deal, man.
It was a hugely profitable film. He ended up filming the whole movie on the soundstage of his popular TV show Alfred Hitchcock Presents, which ran from 1955 to 1962 and had 7 seasons. Paramount, whose contract guaranteed another film by Hitchcock, didn't want Psycho. Hitchcock went to them and said, I got an idea for a new movie. Pitched Psycho, and they were like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Oh, man.
You're going to make a movie about a transvestite serial killer. Are you insane?
Oh, boy.
They wanted this movie with Audrey Hepburn called No Bail for the Judge, which never ended up being made. Hepburn became pregnant, had to bow out, and Hitchcock just decided to scrap it.
Man, unbelievable.
Yeah. Paramount thought the book was too repulsive and impossible to film. But Hitchcock did not believe in impossible.
Yeah, because apparently that first death is just a beheading in the book. I've never read it, but
I haven't either. Yeah, but
apparently it's way more intense. Those deaths. So
yeah, amazingly he had to tame it.
He had to tame it, and the black and white makes it way less gory because you're not seeing that red.
But as we saw later when they did a color version remake, the black and white makes it so much creepier.
Exactly. The undertone of Psycho is the whole movie for me is that you're constantly on your toes and kind of creeped out. It feels like someone scratching a chalkboard the whole movie.
Yeah.
And you're always just like, fuck. And part of that is, the black and white. It's hard to, distinguish things, and you don't know exactly what's going on at times. Oh, it's brilliant.
It really is brilliant. Hitchcock ended up shooting at Universal Studios, And the original Bates Motel and Bates House set are still standing, and they've become part of the studio tour, which is amazing. I would love to go see that.
Very cool.
He ended up choosing to film in black and white to keep the budget under $1 million. And this also kept the shower scene from appearing too gory, which helped him with the rating. The film ended up grossing $32 million on a roughly $800,000 budget.
Unbelievable.
Becoming Hitchcock's most successful film. And this is the one no studio exec believed in.
Oh,
it's amazing.
That's insane.
As if Hitchcock needed another reason to, to add to his infamy, his mythology.
Like, prove his worth.
Yeah. He'd already done Vertigo, North by Northwest, Lifeboat, Rebecca, Strangers on a Train, Dial M for Murder. And then he goes and I want to make this.
He's going into his third decade of filmmaking.
And everybody's like, no, you can't do this. And he's like, I'm Alfred Hitchcock. I will do whatever I want.
I'll definitely do this, yeah.
And he fucking showed them. It's amazing. Psycho was made shortly after the end of the Hays Code. And the Hays Code, a ridiculous set of moralistic rules that movies made in Hollywood were forced to follow from 1930 to 1968. This included, and this is all true, this is all stuff that was not allowed to appear in mainstream cinema for 38 years. No profanity, no sexual relationships outside of marriage, no homosexual characters or innuendo, no interracial couples, all criminal action had to be punished, all authority figures had to be obeyed, and no church members could be viewed comically or as villains. It was pure churchy bullshit that ruled Hollywood for decades.
Why do you think we like the 70s so much?
Yeah, because people were free and they could finally do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, because they're not forcing you to believe what they want you to believe.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
It was amazing. Like, you look at any film, like any popular, successful film during that era, and it's so tame. It's a lot of them are great, but a lot of them are so held back.
And stay within this little circle. I mean, yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Putting it in people's mind that this is how it goes. So fucked up.
I learned about the Hays Code in my one of the film classes I took in college, and the movie that my teacher used to show us this is The Maltese Falcon. And that movie is loaded with so many undertones that you only catch if you're really paying attention.
Okay.
Because they had to pass it by the Hays Code.
Yeah.
Like, Peter Lorre's character in that is very clearly in a homosexual relationship with Sidney Greenstreet.
Wow.
But you don't notice that unless you are really, really paying attention. Because they could not come out and say that.
Yeah.
Little things, like the way one of the female characters refers to Peter Lorre's cologne, Gardenia. Like, the way she looks at Bogey is like, something's up with this guy.
I see.
Little things like that, and it's brilliant.
That's amazing.
The really brilliant filmmakers.
I need to see that. Yeah.
It's so cool.
I need to see that.
They could slip things by the Hays Code, and I love looking for that.
Fuck the Hays Code.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the Hays Code is not a good thing. Not a good thing. Not a good part of American history.
Anything that suppresses creativity and art is fucking barbaric.
Oh, yeah, and tries to control the mind and how we're supposed to think about how we're supposed to act. That's crazy.
Horrible.
Crazy talk.
The Hays Code ended gradually in the 60s after films like Some Like It Hot were not granted approval, but still were a huge success at the box office anyway, proving that the code really didn't have any authority.
Okay, if you just said, fuck you, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, which I wish more people had done.
And then, but then that brings in the roaring 70s that just destroy. And they're like, all right, here we are.
They went so far because now they could.
Yes.
I mean, you look at a film like Wes Craven's Last House on the Left. That is if anything, that film is a fuck you to the Hays Code.
Yeah, just what we did
in spades.
Just what we did a couple episodes ago of Jaws. Is like,
here's
a family movie with death.
You know what's funny? Psycho has had its rating changed like 5 times.
Yeah, I read that.
But they've never touched Jaws.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Movie from 1960. Yeah, I don't know. 1975. It's weird.
Fun fact about the shower scene, it did not in fact feature a nude Janet Leigh, as this would have been way too scandalous for 1960.
For sure.
And would have condemned the film right at the gate. Instead, Hitchcock used camera tricks to make the audience think she was naked. Hitchcock himself said, when interviewed in 1964, quote, "As you know, you could not take the camera and just show a nude woman. It had to be done impressionistically. So it was done with little pieces of film, the head, the feet, the hand, etc. In that scene, there were 78 pieces of film in about 45 seconds.
Let's go.
That is dedication. That is impressive.
Go. That's my guy. That's the kind of shit I like. Oh, yeah. That scene is so fucking terrifying.
It's iconic and freaky to this day.
And then just when you see the drain, the water going down the drain, and then the blood pouring, and it's all black and white. Oh, I hate that. And then, whew, like I said, it's like the chalkboard sensation of just, get me out of here as soon as you can. But it keeps going. Perfect. Reels you in, and then you're stuck. From that moment on, you're stuck in this movie. Stuck. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Psycho stars Oscar nominee Janet Leigh as Marion Crane.
Oh, yeah.
A secretary who decides to skip town with $40,000 of her boss's money. Leigh was nominated for one Oscar in her career, and it was for Psycho.
Yes, rightly so.
She's actually the mother of another famous scream queen, Jamie Lee Curtis, star of Halloween and The Fog, among others.
Keep it in the family, keep it in horror. Yeah.
Her father's Tony Curtis, another famous actor.
Yeah.
The two, Jamie Lee and Janet Leigh, actually appeared together in The Fog, which is kind of cool. That's
amazing.
one I've never seen.
Love stuff like that. Same. There's stuff, we're young. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Janet Leigh died in 2004 at age 77 of vasculitis.
She seemed like a lovely lady. I got to watch a documentary today about the making of Psycho, and she seemed like a real lovely lady to be working with, and totally appreciated every moment she had with Hitchcock. So that's really cool.
In that Hitchcock movie with Anthony Hopkins, I think she's played by Scarlett Johansson, right?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah. Which is awesome. Yeah. That's great. Love the casting in that.
Oscar nominee Anthony Perkins portrays the now iconic movie monster Norman Bates.
Give that man all the Oscars for this role. Oh my god.
He's a seemingly charming, if not awkward, young man who is hiding a very dark secret. Perkins was nominated for his role in 1956's Friendly Persuasion. He became typecast after Psycho, and he played Norman 3 more times in 1983's Psycho 2, 1986's Psycho 3, and 1990's Psycho 4, The Beginning. He died in 1992 at age 60 of complications due to AIDS. Perkins was a closeted homosexual, and he had been fighting that his whole life.
Fascinating role. Fascinating role.
Fascinating
for him to
human
take
being.
On. Yeah.
You could tell that he was, this was personal to him.
Yes, very much. This performance is fucking legendary.
Yeah.
He, no one else can do this, and it obviously very much shows in the '98 remake. It's just it's one of those kind of written for him, And
I don't know if anybody else can do it. I just know the guy from Swingers can't do it.
Oh gee, or yeah, that guy, the guy from Old School, the earmuffs guy. Yeah, come on. Yeah, no,
but yeah,
no, I don't want to. Yeah, I just want to praise Tony Perkins. He
Absolutely.
was he's unbelievable, and that I would love to talk about his his first scene when it's so legendary when you first see this character, this gangly guy. And the black and white is so big for his character, and watching him and his facial expressions, I think. And when he gets kind of offended for the first time,
yeah,
you just immediately are he's so unpredictable after that.
Yeah.
And I love characters like that so much, and he does it so well. I hadn't seen this in a long time, so when I got to revisit that. That is, of course, my favorite part of the movie is just getting to watch him. Amazing performer.
Oh, fantastic. The rest of the cast is Vera Miles, who plays Lila Crane, Marion's sister. John Gavin, who plays Sam Loomis, Marion's boyfriend, and Oscar winner Martin Balsam, who plays private investigator Arbogast.
Fantastic. He's great.
Balsam won for his role in 1965's 1,000 Crowns, and he does a great job in this movie as Arbogast.
He's amazing. Fantastic. The whole time he's on the screen, it's like fireworks are going off.
My favorite thing about this movie is everybody who they introduce to be the hero is immediately fucking dispatched.
Yeah.
You are never safe in this movie.
No forgiveness. No forgiveness.
And I would say the true star of this film is the menacing and unbelievably frightening score by Bernard Herrmann.
Totally fine with that. Yeah, that opening credit scene when you just have the lines moving and
oh my god.
Oh, it's so terrifying.
We all know the music from Psycho.
Of
if you've
course.
never seen the movie, you know the music from Psycho.
Yeah, it's legendary.
Without it, this film isn't half as terrifying.
And you've seen the posters of her screaming in the shower. Everybody's seen that. It's classic. It's amazing.
We'll play
timeless.
We'll play the usual bit of music at the end, but here's a little snippet of arguably the most famous horror movie score of all time. Isn't that still creepy after all these years? It's terrifying.
EBGBs. Gives me chills. Immediately. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. Psycho has an IMDb score of 8.5. a Rotten Tomatoes score of 96%.
Fuck yeah.
It was nominated for 4 Oscars: Best Supporting Actress for Janet Leigh, Best Director for Alfred Hitchcock, Best Cinematography, and Best Art Direction. How it wasn't nominated for score is beyond me.
Yeah.
I can't fucking believe that.
Like, okay. I don't even want to know what else was nominated, because I'm probably not going to know the movies, really, but it doesn't matter. This is
one of the most famous film scores of all time. Yeah. It's still scary. It's creepy as hell.
Still stands, yeah.
So, the story of Psycho. Off the cuff, like we like doing it.
Yeah. All right. So the opening shot is one of my favorite bits. Going into the hotel room, and that scene between, you see, obviously Loomis and Crane are in a relationship. That opening shot is so beautiful of it coming in at the beginning. I think he wanted to use a helicopter there, but
he did.
It was money issues, I guess, or something. So.
And that's one thing Gus Van Sant did fulfill in the remake,
which looks beautiful in the 98 one. But I still like the 61 better. Sure.
I will never.
It's such a brilliant introduction. Like, here I am. I'm a very talented filmmaker. Check it out. Check it out.
Well, I love that just from the opening, Marion with Sam.
Yeah.
They're an unmarried couple.
Yeah.
Straight up in the first scene, Hitchcock is pissing on the Hays Code.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
Yeah, here they are, and they're obviously had sex.
Yeah.
That's just...
She's wearing a bra.
Yeah.
That's weird back then.
It's like a pretty sexy scene, and I've heard Janet Leigh talk about. She said that like Hitchcock was like, "I'm challenging you. I know you haven't had to really do stuff like this because this isn't done, so but I need you to go there," and she was like, I gave it my best, and she did. It's a great scene.
Props to all of the actors involved in this, because this very easily could have been a career ender for everybody involved.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I love that everybody was willing to go there.
That's a good point. Yeah, everybody was committed. Yeah, best foot forward for sure.
Absolutely. So Marion and Sam make plans to eventually get together for real when Sam's out of debt and his wife gets married. His ex-wife gets married, so he can stop paying alimony.
Yeah, and
she goes to work at this like a real estate kind of business. She's a secretary.
Yeah.
And her boss walks in with this rich old Texan. He just loves swinging his big old money dick around, and he gets right up in Marion's face and is like, "Oh, you pretty girl. Not you, my daughter." Super creepy.
Yeah, that guy's frightening, as is, yeah.
He's like, "I got $40,000, and here it is."
1960, that's a big deal.
I never carry around more than I can afford to lose. I always like that line.
That's a great line. The arrogance is awesome in that. Yeah.
So he throws $40,000 on Marion's desk. He's doing a deal with her boss. And the boss is like, "Look, I don't even want this in the office. Go take that to the bank. We'll get him to write a check on Monday." She's like, "Oh, okay." So she just has $40,000 now. And without hesitation, she's like, "I'm taking this shit."
Yeah. It's not much of a thought process, really.
No.
And I want to ask you, what would you have done?
Whew. If somebody...
1960. That's a lot of money.
If somebody gives me $40,000 to go deposit... And that can change my entire life if I just get the hell out of there. I don't know. I don't know what I'd do in that situation.
I think about it more than she did.
Maybe, yeah.
And then I can't imagine going through with that. What's the next step? Which clearly she was like, "Fuck, I don't." But she does it, man. She does. She
takes off. She starts to leave town, and then while she's at a crosswalk, her boss walks in front of her car.
Yep.
And gives her a like, "Huh, you're not supposed to be over here" kind of look. And oh my god, the music swells, and she's like, "Oh shit, I got to get out of here right now."
Yeah, it's truly like different kind of horror going on. Just unsettling.
This is a completely different movie until she gets to the Bates Motel.
Yes, for sure.
It's brilliant,
and I really like the first 20 minutes or so.
And that scene of her running into her boss in front of her car was directly lifted for Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
When Butch is driving from his apartment and Marcellus Wallace walks in front of his car, motherfucker, and then boom. Straight out of... I love
Straight into Psycho.
Talking about one legend paying respect to another.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So Marion hightails it to the highway. She's thinking of all these scenarios in her head, like Sam being like...
creepy stuff. The stuff playing in her head is weird.
Sam's like, "Oh, this money will change our lives." And her boss is like...
debt.
Yeah. And eventually she pulls over, and she falls asleep in her car, and this cop... knocks on her window and is like, "What are you doing out here?"
Apparently Hitchcock hated cops. That's what I've heard that.
Really?
He was not a fan of the police, so he wanted to make that character really because
that comes across in his films.
Very creepy. That cop is very I don't know.
A lot of the cops in his films are either incompetent or evil. I've noticed that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
There's some truth to that, then I guess. Yeah. Good man. Okay.
But and oddly, Marion is very flippant with the cops.
Yeah, right away. Starts her car.
She seems guilty immediately.
Yeah, she does.
You can steal $40,000. You can't lie about it for
and he's
a
like,
day.
Hold on now, there, Missy. Yeah.
And
oh man,
she takes off, but the cop follows her.
Yep.
And Marion gets paranoid, so she stops at a used car dealership and wants to buy a car. And this scene's hilarious.
It is great.
The guy's just trying to sell her on a car, and Marion's like, "No, I want this one right now, please."
Yeah, he's surprised that she's basically selling him. No, I know what I want.
And eventually, the guy gives. Marion buys this car with cash.
Yeah,
and takes off.
And the cop sees this. Yeah,
cop sees this whole interaction.
Always wearing those damn sunglasses.
She almost drives off without her bags. She's clearly running away from something, and everybody there knows it.
Yeah,
and she keeps driving towards Fairville, which is where Sam lives. This all takes place in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Such a random setting, which I love. I love that it's in Arizona.
And it starts raining, and she realizes she can't make it to Fairville tonight, so she stops at a motel. The Bates Motel.
Hole in the wall.
off the old highway.
Oh, Bates, with a creepy-ass house behind it. I would not stay there myself, but... She thought otherwise.
Because of this movie, I'll never stay at another motel. I know I'm not the mark, but that's not the point.
You also get, if you run into No Country for Old Men situation at
Jesus,
a hotel,
there's another reason.
It's pretty frightening, yeah.
Weird
looking out your window, oh my god.
Bad shit happens at motels. That's a big lesson I learned from movies.
Yeah.
But she... looks up at the old house, and she sees somebody moving around in the window. So she honks the horn, and a few minutes later, this gangly dude comes out of the front door of the house, comes down to the office, introduces himself as Norman Bates.
Hands in pocket, yeah.
He's unassuming, he's quiet, you get the feeling he's kind of a weak guy, and he's the kind of guy you wouldn't really give a second glance.
No. Unless he's smiling at you like he does at the end, but...
I see that, holy shit. But right now...
But yeah, when he's just... when he's just
Remember, back then, audiences didn't know what was going to happen in Psycho.
No.
We all know who Norman Bates is now. But back then, this was huge. This was one of the earliest, giant twist endings. And the whole movie... It's funny the little hints that you get at Norman's true motivations here.
Yeah.
The way he's talking about taxidermy, his mother's harmless because she's just as harmless as one of these stuffed birds.
Yeah,
fuck.
Oh my gosh,
it's so wonderful and
once in a lifetime dialogue for Perkins.
Yeah, he signs Marion in, and she goes to her room.
What's the name she uses? Marie Samuels.
Yeah. And she goes to her room. He's showing her around. He hesitates about the bathroom.
Yeah,
weird.
Very, very bizarre.
And he invites her to have dinner with him, and he goes to go ask Mother if that'd be all right. And
you hear her screaming.
Yeah.
Disgusting woman!
Yeah. She doesn't straight up say whore, but she wants to.
Basically, yeah. Fuck the Hays Code.
Yeah, and Norman's like, Mother, please, stop it. She's kind. She's nice.
She's just stopping through. Yeah.
Marion's over at the hotel, just ugh.
What is
he doesn't
on?
need this.
Is anyone else here? Yeah, fuck.
And Norman comes out of the house with a tray of sandwiches and milk.
Ugh.
Which is a weird... People who just drink milk...
I hate people
are weird.
Or sorry, there's probably... I don't hate you. I just hate that you do that. I hate when someone just has a glass of milk in there. Because I'm a big Clockwork Orange fan, so... It puts me in a weird place.
You are totally allowed at all times to drink chocolate milk. You are not allowed to just drink regular milk.
I associate chocolate milk with my childhood, yeah.
Chocolate milk is a fun treat. Regular milk is a serial killer waiting to happen. It's disturbing.
Oh, you weirdos out there that drink milk?
Yeah. Unless you have a big old cookie with it, you keep that shit away from me.
Oh man! And then like a sandwich, just a sandwich on a plate.
I've ended friendships
that
over this
creeps
shit.
me out too.
Yeah.
There's no chips on there. There's no fries. You just got a plain old sandwich just laying on a plain plate. Just unsettling.
There's so many red flags.
Yeah, just little imagery that I just be like, no. I gotta get the hell out of here.
Oh, it's crazy.
Well, yeah, just the house at the beginning.
Yeah.
If I saw that, I'd be like, no, this can't be a good place to stay. It can't be.
Nobody else is there.
That looks like a haunted house. Yeah, that's I'm good. But she's just curious, I guess.
And Norman's talking to her about his mother, and she asks, like, you ever do anything else? You ever go out with friends? And he says the immortal line, oh, a boy's best friend is his mother.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Boom! Red light.
Weirdo! Ding, 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 ding.
Fuck off. Go to the Motel 6 down the road. This guy has issues.
Fuck off. You still got time. Go back, give the 40,000 back, and be like, I fucked up.
But she just keeps eating the sandwich okay.
And keeps drinking that damn milk, yeah. Oh, boy.
And he's talking about his mother, saying, like, yeah, he's thought about leaving her or throwing her in a mental hospital, but he could never do that. Those places are terrible. And eventually Marion starts thinking, like, all right, maybe I should give the money back.
Yeah.
This is
not cool.
This is taking a turn for the worse here.
I don't know about this guy. I think I need to go to sleep now.
So she goes to bed.
Not before a cold shower.
Oh, yeah, but she goes to take a shower first, and Norman takes a picture off the office wall and is peeping at her, which is just unnerving.
All too creepy, yeah.
And Marion hides the 40 grand in a newspaper on her bedside table and takes a shower. And while she's in the shower, you see this looming figure creeping out from the shower curtain. You see it from her angle.
Looks like a Kingdom Hearts character or something. You're like, what is going on, man?
Oh my god.
I immediately thought that when I watched it last. I was like, that dark face, that figure. You're like, what is that? Heartless?
But the shower curtain opens, the music starts swelling, and something looks like Norman's mom
just moving
starts stabbing Marion to death.
Yeah.
Huge
You
shot.
clearly see the hair for a snippet. There's that
Mm-hmm.
that important snippet where you see hair. So
You see hair and a butcher knife.
The mother is involved in some fashion. You know that right away.
And-
But you don't get a clear frame, so you're like, I don't know what that was. That could have been a monster. I don't know.
But Marion is stabbed to death brutally.
Dude,
And
the shots of the point of the knife, they're like, ah.
it's brilliant. The way it's filmed is so brilliant because you don't see anything, but you see everything.
And you hear that.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, those noises are not fun.
Marion collapses, blood runs down the drain.
Ugh.
She's dead. Our hero is dead.
Her face lands not in the shower, but out near the toilet. Just terrible death.
What kind of nobody expected that.
Brutality, ultimate slasher scene. Whoa, this is dark. Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
Ugh.
And Mom goes back up to the house, and you just hear Norman go, "Oh my God, blood, Mother, what have you done? Oh my God!"
Yes,
and he runs down from the house. He finds Marion, and he's immediately like, "Oh my God!" He's horrified.
Yeah, freaked out. He's like, "I got to fix this. Yeah, I got to do something."
So he starts cleaning up the scene.
Yes, that's filmed maybe even better because even then he couldn't show the body too much, or he had to just because it's still naked, so he had to show him just working. Just trying to fix this situation. Oh man!
At this point, you still audiences in 1960 still see Norman as this weak but fairly innocent guy.
Yeah.
Whose mother has just murdered a woman he was nice to. But who was nice to him.
But what I get, I remember what I got the first time I ever saw it was, okay, they're working together? The mom and the son are they a tag team serial killer duo?
See, I would say
because she kills and then he has to go clean up
at the time.
Because the way he reacts is "Mom, blood," but it was also he knew what to do.
That's true. He was shocked.
It's
but
weird to put your head.
He was prepared. Yeah. But we know now that it's all Norman.
So it's so weird to put your head there. It's that's what makes it fun to rewatch though. But
here's the thing:
unraveling all that.
Who's cleaning the scene? Is it Norman or is it Mother?
No idea.
I
still don't really know. I don't know.
Do we ever actually see Norman in this movie? Is it Mom the whole time?
Possibly.
How fucked up would that be?
Yeah, I know. Controlling the whole time.
I love it. But Norman puts the body in her car, puts all of her effects in the car, puts the newspaper with the 40 grand in the car. You never see the money again. Nobody gets the money. Kind of kind of disappointing on that side of it.
This is a crime. Someone says in the movie that this is a crime of passion, not profit.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And he drives the car into a swamp. Swamp gets rid of the evidence.
And his face right there. Oh boy, that smirk is so grimace. It's
just like that. Marion Crane was never there.
Yep. Wiped away.
Yeah.
From existence. Yeah. Here we go.
So now, we cut to Sam Loomis, Marion's boyfriend, working at a store.
Yeah.
And her sister Lila comes in and is like, "Do you know where Marion is? Apparently, she stole $40,000 and nobody's seen her in a week." And he's like, "No, nobody told me." And this guy walks in, Arbogast, private investigator.
Let's talk about.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm been hired to look into this. So what do you know?" And they're like, "We don't know you. That's what we know."
Yeah, really, really funny scene right there. A great character introduction, just very abrupt. Like, "Hey, how you doing? All right."
He's like, "Well, look, this is my job, and
let's talk."
Yeah. So reminded me a lot of DeFino, The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you say? We compare notes, personal. I love that. But Arbogast starts checking out motels around, hotels, anywhere she might have stayed, and he eventually gets led to the Bates Motel, where he talks to Norman Bates, and I fucking love this scene.
Yeah,
Arbogast knows Norman's lying, and he
keeps asking
he feels
questions.
him out the whole time. It's so great. Norman, for a killer, is such a fucking terrible liar.
He is.
It's funny.
But that's what makes him feel kind of like a victim.
Yeah.
At the end. In the end, it kind of makes it... Because he's like stuttering and kind of lost in who he even is.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, the way Detective just slices him up right there. Yeah. Like, I got you.
Arbogast starts asking, like, did she pay cash? Yeah. Did she... like... And then he asks Norman abruptly, did you spend the night with her?
Yeah.
And he's like, what?
No.
And he's like, well, how do you know she didn't make any phone calls? He's like, I remember now.
Yeah.
She was tired. Like, he just is talking out of his ass the whole time.
Ate. Yeah, and then I made her food. Yeah, and there's more and more. And then my mother would... Wait, what? What about your mother? Yeah.
Arbogast wants to talk to Mom, and Norman's like, absolutely not. I've said all I'm going to say. Get out of here.
Yeah, I think it's time for you to go.
And Arbogast is like, all right. Sure. So he goes...
Here we go.
He goes to a phone booth. He calls Isla and Sam and says, like, look, I have a lead. She was here. I'm going to go talk to Mom. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, because he sees her in the window. Yeah.
So Arbogast sneaks into the house and is going to look for Mom. He gets to the top of the stairs. Mom comes out of nowhere, stabs him in the face.
Yep.
It's such a haunting scene. You get this really creepy shot of Arbogast falling backwards down the stairs.
Oh, his eyes are like super wide. Crazy.
Mom just follows him down, stabs him in the chest like a bunch of times. Arbogast, our second hero, dead.
Yep. He did not have a long lifespan on this movie.
We have nobody to relate to now except for Norman Bates. He's the only character we know who's gotten any sort of development now.
Yeah.
And it's creepy.
It's really weird. You feel really lost, and now you're like grasping for straws.
We have no one to root for.
What are we doing here? Get me out.
Like I bet. I don't know, because the first time I saw this, I did know about Norman Bates. I've never not known. So it'd be hard for me to imagine this, but I gotta think that in 1960, audiences must have thought, Norman's gotta be our hero, and he's gonna kill his mom.
He's gonna finally step up to his mom.
That's what somebody was thinking.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think I would have thought, or I kind of did when I first saw it, that they were a tag team and that he had to stop her.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I have to be like the good one here and put this to an end.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
No, very much not the case.
Ah, man.
So, Lila and Sam are, they don't really know what to do now. Arbogast never called.
And they had never met, Lila and Sam. So,
no.
These two characters, it was Sam who was the boyfriend, and now she's dead.
Yeah.
So, these two people have to, work together, and it's really hard because they don't really know each other.
Somebody they loved is gone.
Yeah.
And they need to know why and where. So they go to the Bates Motel to kind of look around on their own, because that's the last place they know Arbogast was at.
And they aren't very good at hiding that they're there for their own agenda either.
But before that, they go to the cops.
Oh, yeah.
They go to the cop. They go to talk to
You're right.
Sheriff Al Chambers.
Yes.
And they tell him, Arbogast was going to talk to Norman's mom, and then we never heard from him again, and he would have called. And they're like, the sheriff's like, wait a minute, let me get this straight. He said he was going to talk to Norman's mother? It's like, yeah. Well, Norman's mom's been dead for 10 years.
Yeah, has been buried here. Yeah.
And that's where we're all like, what?
Okay. Well, now, Norman, what are you hiding, buddy?
Yeah. So that's when they decide, all right, we're going to go figure this out.
This Bates Motel is fucked, yeah.
So they check into the motel under the guise of husband and wife, and Sam is fucking with them.
And he gives him, like, what? He gives him, like, cabin 11, because there's 12 of them.
Yeah.
He gives him one of those ones that are kind of far.
But Sam's like, look, I need a receipt. He's like, okay, and I have no bags. He's like, all right, that's fine. He's like, oh, well, that's the first time I've ever seen a motel where you don't have to pay in advance if you have no bags. Like, he's fucking with Norman the whole time. And I think on some level, Norman knows that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they should have played it more low-key. Mm-hmm. Because immediately I think he's thinking, that looks like Crane's sister. That looks like Marion, who I just killed.
So far, everybody who's been to this motel has been talking about Marion Crane.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't these guys? Mm-hmm. And Lila is going to go sneak into the house while Sam distracts Norman with some talk. So Lila sneaks into the house, starts looking around. Sam's talking to Norman. Sam started asking about the money. Like, so what would it take for you to run away from all this? Maybe 40 grand? And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, I would never leave here. This is my home. This is my mother's home. And Sam's like, come on, I know what you did. And we all know what you did, so why don't you just fess up? And Norman's like, where's the girl who was with you? And he knocks Sam out.
Yeah, oh, man.
Norman runs up to the house. Lila's like, freaking out. She hears Norman coming up. She sees him, so she runs down to the cellar. And in the cellar, Lila finds the rotting dead body of of Norman's mom. And it's a big, shocking moment. And then Norman comes out from behind the corner with a knife and dressed in drag and is going to stab Lila. But Sam comes up from behind him, bashes him in the head. The nightmare's over. But Norman was behind all of this. He's the monster.
He was dressing as his mom, wearing a wig.
Yeah.
What a weirdo.
Oh, boy. He gets arrested, and the doctor, Dr. Richmond, is talking about what was up with this whole thing. Yeah. Norman killed his mother years ago and has been kind of possessed by her personality. He's got personality disorder and multiple personalities, and Mother takes over whenever he gets sexually excited or does something that she would think would be wrong, and takes care of that problem. But now, because of the shock of this whole thing, Norman's gone and Mother is all that's left. It's so unnerving.
Oh, God.
And Lila and Sam are like, so Marion's dead. And he's like, yeah, but not for the money. This was passion.
Yeah. Super dark. Mm-hmm. Super dark ending. And just, there you go.
Yeah. And you see Norman Mother in the holding cell, just kind of sitting there, thinking like, I bet they'll let me go if I play the innocent. Like, I'm not even going to swat this fly on my hand, because they'll see. They'll look at me and think, that she wouldn't even hurt a fly. And Norman does this super, super creepy grin at the camera. Oh my God.
It is legendary.
Absolutely nightmarish.
Yeah.
And they start pulling the car out of the swamp, and that's the end of the movie.
Yep. The end, it says. So good.
Phenomenal. I got a really cool fun fact. The guard who's standing outside of Norman's cell is Ted Knight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
You'll know, viewers, you guys will know, or listeners, you guys will know him as Judge Smales in Caddyshack.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And
legend.
Yeah, that was like one of his first things. Pretty cool. So, Psycho. Absolutely phenomenal. The first movie. And there were 3 sequels. 1983's Psycho 2 stars Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates. It was written by Tom Holland.
Yeah, how about that?
Writer of the original Fright Night and the original Child's Play.
And, Spider-Man.
If you want it, sure, why not? Vera Miles also returns as Lila Loomis, having married Sam at some point, which I think is a little weird, personally.
Yes, I agree.
But this was the 60s, or the 80s now, I guess. In this film, Norman is released from the mental hospital after 22 years and tries to resume a normal life, but he is still haunted by his mother. It has an IMDb score of 6.5 and a Rotten Tomatoes score of 61%. So, relatively favorable. I might check this one out. Kind of weird. Psycho doesn't seem like the kind of movie you do a sequel to.
No, because the ending is so perfect.
Yeah, but then again...
So abrupt, too.
They'll do sequels to fucking anything.
Yeah, of course. Money.
Yeah.
Anyone will do anything to make money.
Next up was 1986's Psycho 3, starring Anthony Perkins once again as Norman Bates, who falls in love with a nun who stays at the motel alongside a drifter and a reporter. And of course, Norman is still haunted by Mother. And Perkins actually directed this one, too. It has an IMDb score of 5.4, Rotten Tomatoes score of 58%.
Yikes.
Starts going down. Finally, 1990's Psycho 4, The Beginning, starring Anthony Perkins in his final performance as Norman Bates. It's a prequel of sorts, with Norman recounting his abusive childhood with his mother Norma, played by Olivia Hussey of Black Christmas and Romeo and Juliet. But it's also a sequel, as Norman is about to have a child, and he fears for the child's sanity. It has an IMDb score of 5.5. It does not have a Rotten Tomatoes critic score, but it has an audience score of 33%. Not a good sign.
Nah, I think I'll stick with just the original here.
I think this was a TV movie, and he died shortly after this. But I'm probably going to check these out, honestly. I'm curious.
Maybe one day. I don't know when I'll have time. I do love Perkins so much.
He is fantastic.
I'll check him out. Yeah.
The only other thing I've seen him in besides Psycho is 1974's Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
He plays the butler to the dead guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's good in that.
He is good.
Yeah, but at the same time, I get, the typecast, because all I saw was Norman Bates.
Yeah, of course.
It's kind of sad. But I read that Perkins and Lee both said they'd rather be remembered for this than remembered for nothing, which is a nice way of thinking about it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, this is everywhere. It's going to be everywhere. It's a timeless movie.
Absolutely. So the film was remade in 1998.
Explain remade.
Remade as in reshot in color, identically. It's the same fucking movie, but with no chemistry, no originality, nothing. Gus Van Sant, fresh off Good Will Hunting, chose this as his next project, and it hurt him bad.
He must have been in a strange place in his mind. He must have been pretty arrogant. It was like, I'm going to be this master and change Psycho and make it in color. And
that's all he did.
Have it in the 90s, and then it's like, yeah, but nothing else was there. There's zero creativity in my mind, except for the opening shot. That's it.
The part that really annoys me is when asked why Gus Van Sant was remaking Psycho, his reasoning was so someone else doesn't have to. Fuck you. That's arrogant as fuck.
What is that?
Like, I'll do it so no one else will remake Psycho? Really?
I'll take that on. Dickhead.
Nobody needed that.
I don't like you as much now.
So, the cast. Anne Heche as Marion Crane, and I believe she's crazy. I don't know anything about Anne Heche apart from somebody told me she was crazy.
Yeah, I've actually read that on BuzzFeed, one of those bullshit, yeah.
Some kind of cult thing or something. I don't know. We'll do research in the future. Vince Vaughn plays Norman Bates. Why?
he literally... let me, hold on, let's see if I can do it. He does that over and over. It's terrible. It's so bad.
He's always eating candy corn.
This isn't fucking Wedding Crashers, man.
He has none of Anthony Perkins' likability, any of his charm, any of his creepiness. Oh, he has a shit ton of creepiness, but not in the right way.
Yeah, no, it's more just like, I don't know. I really dislike that performance from him, and I'm actually a big Vince Vaughn fan. So
I'm a fan of everybody in this movie. But,
yeah, me too. Actually, except for Anne Heche.
Except for Anne Heche. Yeah. Fuck you.
But
what the hell?
Because there's some other there's some other stars here. Like
Julianne Moore plays Lila, Viggo Mortensen plays Sam, and William H. Macy plays Arbogast.
Yeah, man. I love those people.
If Gus Van Sant had decided to maybe twist something, make it a little different, take his own spin on this could have been awesome.
Hey, Gus, just make a different movie with that cast.
Yeah.
Just do a different story.
If you're going to tackle a classic like Psycho, you got to bring something new to the table.
It has to be different.
It doesn't have to be good, but it has to be different.
Literally, all they changed was the setting, the time.
That's it.
That's it.
And they made the money $400,000 now. Because $40,000's nothing in the 90s, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think I used this as an example before. I don't know if we were recording when I said this, but Rob Zombie's Halloween It's not great. It's the worst version of Halloween, but it's a little different. It stands out.
It has taste. Yeah, it has a different taste. Different.
Yeah.
And that makes me want to rewatch that more because it at least did something. Yeah, like you're saying, did something different.
Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead.
I just prefer anytime you get a big, good cast, just fucking make a new story.
Yeah.
Because that's usually your best bet, man.
Exactly.
And at this time, like, you have Julianne Moore, she's working with, like, right and left with PTA, and William H. Macy, and Vigo is about to be in Lord of the Rings. Like, these are some stars, man. Really disappointing. And you're watching that movie unfold, and you're just like, oh my god, it's literally the exact same movie.
It is.
Just shittier. Great,
Yeah.
great.
The camera angles...
thanks for wasting my time.
The camera angles are identical. The dialogue is verbatim.
Yes, but it's all said, like, worse.
Robert Forster plays the doctor at the end, and he was sent the script. And he called his agent to make sure he was sent the right script.
Yeah.
Because they sent him the original Psycho script.
He's like, are you sure?
They're like,
to say this exact stuff.
They're like, yeah, this is the script. They're just doing the same movie.
Love Robert Forster, by the way.
Yeah.
He's great.
But what the...
Yeah.
Why does this even exist?
It's really annoying. Yeah, it's really annoying that it's a part of... that it got made. Like, bastards.
It's infuriating.
Bastards. If we had that access and that opportunity to make something with people that are that talented, like, you know, it's just... it's annoying because it feels just like a waste of energy.
It's disingenuous from the beginning.
And it's not to mention it's disrespectful, in my opinion, to rehash Psycho and not actually change anything or add your own like flavor or say like, oh, I want to give this character a little more screen time because that character really influenced me. You know, something. You know, come on. Man,
it's IMDb score 4.6.
There you go.
Rotten Tomatoes score of 38%.
Yep.
It's got lower ratings than almost all of the Psycho sequels.
What has it got from you?
I gave it a 5, and that's for the music.
Yeah, I'd say 4 probably for me. Just because I want to be a little bit more of a dick. Do we rate Psycho the original yet?
We will at the end.
We will. Okay,
yeah,
good.
I'm waiting
because I'm really interested to hear yours.
Oh yeah,
because I don't know.
Okay. And there was a prequel series made titled Bates Motel that ran from 2013 to 2017 on A&E for 5 seasons. It starred Freddie Highmore as Norman Bates and Vera Farmiga as his mother Norma. It was very well received by critics, and you saw a lot of that, right?
Yes, yeah. I watched it because of Farmiga, because Conjuring had just happened. Okay. And I was like, okay, I can get down with this. I enjoyed it. It got a little... it probably should have only been like 3 seasons, in my opinion.
No.
But that happens a lot. It's okay, but there's some really good stuff in there. I definitely...
Did you see the entire show?
Yeah.
Did it ever do anything with Psycho?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
You should watch it, yeah. Yeah, you should watch it.
I tried. I watched the first 2 episodes, but this was like years ago.
Yeah.
I couldn't really get
He's
into
hard
it.
to, like, really get invested into. Freddy, the actor, he's hard to, like, really...
I liked him when he was a kid, but as an adult, he's really kind of off-putting.
Yeah.
It's weird. Maybe it's just because I keep seeing Charlie Bucket.
Farmiga, man.
She's great.
Charlie Bucket.
Yeah, that's who he was to me as a kid. And I can't see him as Norman Bates.
Isn't he fucking August Rush, too?
Yeah, and he's on that show, The Good Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
He's had a very odd career.
Yeah.
But, props for him for escaping the child actor curse.
True.
Yeah. So here's some Filmgazm facts on Psycho. These are great. There were so many cool stories out of this movie. Number 1. On set, Alfred Hitchcock would always refer to Anthony Perkins as Master Bates.
That's great.
I love his sense of humor.
Hitchcock, man.
Oh, fantastic. Number 2, this was the first American movie ever to show a toilet flushing on screen. That was taboo in the Hays Code.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
And they actually had to make it so that the toilet was paramount, like it was crucial to the plot, or else they couldn't show it. Marion ends up flushing some incriminating evidence down the toilet. But this was the first time ever.
Unbelievable, dude.
So strange.
That's the Filmgazm boys giving us fucking messages over here.
Don't worry, we're getting to you. Number 3, Hitchcock used Hershey's chocolate syrup instead of blood because it showed up better on camera. So when Marion gets killed, that blood circling the drain is actually Bosco.
Not surprising.
Or Hershey's.
It works for
One
me.
of them.
Works for me.
Yeah, how neat. And number 4, Hitchcock was initially disappointed with the movie. He even disliked the shower scene and believed the movie would end up on a low-budget drive-in double bill, which is sad. According to Bernard Herrmann, Hitchcock thought of editing it down for broadcast on his TV show. This was almost an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Ooh. Hitchcock did not conceive of music for the shower scene, but Herman did it anyway. After seeing the movie with its score, including the shower sequence, Hitchcock realized the movie would work. Bernard Herrmann saved this movie.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I cannot imagine watching, really, most movies without the music, especially in horror.
But this especially is
Psycho.
A completely different animal without the music.
It immediately jumps off, the opening credit scene immediately jumps off with music, and the whole time you need the music and the...
It's disturbing. It's so... I turned on all the lights in my apartment. I was like, this is creepy.
Yeah, it's definitely unsettling. Does its job very well.
And that's Psycho, an undisputed horror classic. And I give it a 9.
Same. It's not... I don't know why it's not quite there for me.
I do.
What is it?
It's the lull with the boyfriend and the girl. I love... They're the only characters I don't really like.
With Loomis and Lila.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The whole thing with Marion is brilliant. The tension's great. Norman's great. Arbogast is great. But then when it gets to them, I don't know. There's something little... It misses a little something.
I'm with you on that. That's probably the weakest stretch of the movie.
But even then, the rest of it is so fucking amazing.
It's so good.
That it doesn't hurt, really.
No, I'm trying to think. There's something else I can never put my finger quite on. With the shower scene, I love to death, but my mind usually goes to, I wish I could see more of what's happening. Of course, that's part of the charm, and that's part of, you never get to see that, and I love that scene. But my mind does wander.
Yeah,
and that's part of the wonder of movies and the joy of movies. But my mind does go there sometimes. There's other slasher movies, Halloween specifically, that kind of fulfills that like, oh, like that's what we go to see, this crazy entertainment of these guys that are just relentless. And but this movie's very crafty, but I'm with you. There's that little, so you have to deduct it a little bit.
Just a tiny,
it's not quite a masterpiece for me.
Well, let's see what the rest of the team thought. Here's Caleb Leger's thoughts on Psycho. I have a somewhat interesting relationship with Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Like many people my age, I have many memories of being a kid and finding most of what my parents watched on TV strange, scary, or boring. Psycho, it turned out, was a mixture of both for me. I never understood what my mom liked about this film so much, and then the twist at the end happens. An ending that seriously scared the shit out of me as a kid. Now, like many, I consider this film to be an absolute classic and Hitchcock's masterpiece. And to think, almost everyone involved in the production predicted it would be a total bomb. Where do I even begin with this classic film? I mean, everything has been covered before. But here we go. Let's start with the influence Psycho has had on film since. Released in 1960, this is considered one of the first slashers, depending on who you ask the first, but that's a debate for another day. Featuring many of the elements that would be used to great effect in the slasher boom of the 80s, it's easy to see why. One moment in particular would inspire the opening to Scream in the 90s. You know what scene I'm talking about, the famous shower scene. There's a reason this scene has become so popular. The use of music and the fact that this was our main character was shocking to say the least. It helps that Janet Leigh and Anthony Perkins give outstanding performances, the latter of which has quickly showed why he is the only one who could properly play Norman Bates. Spoiler warning before I go on for those who haven't seen it. We didn't bother with a spoiler warning. This is
I don't give a
60
shit.
years old.
Yeah.
It's your fault at this point.
I really don't think you're listening to this if you haven't seen the movie.
Perkins does a phenomenal job of being completely innocent in the beginning and turning full crazy once it's revealed he is in fact Mother. And like I said, his reveal of him being dressed like his mother left some serious scars on me as a kid. But this now brings me to the few negatives I have on this film. Before I go on, I know this is a classic. I love this movie, not taking that away from it. But these two things just don't work for me. The first being the entire second half after the shower scene. It still works, but it's not as fun to watch. Just a slight downgrade. And then there's the infamous ending where the entire film is explained to the audience in the last 5 minutes. I know Hitchcock was forced to do this by the studio, but it still hasn't aged well. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of like that part. Psycho is a classic horror film that has had a lasting impact on the film industry. Hitchcock stood his ground even when everyone was telling him this was going to bomb, and thank God he did. Who knows what the genre would have been like without this seminal film. While there are some elements that have not aged well, unfortunately, I still love this movie. Featuring an outstanding performance from Anthony Perkins, shocking mid-movie twist, and Hitchcock's skillful direction, this is a film everyone needs to see, horror fan or not. 9 out of 10.
Well said.
Absolutely. I agree with pretty much all of that except for the sum up at the end. I think that's important.
I also think that's Hitchcock. He's an abrupt storyteller, and he's very much influenced by European films, and European films do not waste time and do not dick around and do not they answer questions, and I think that end scene really is really cool because it immediately tells you, yes, this is what happened. In fact, he is insane. In fact,
every film I've seen of his, except for The Birds, has had that sum up.
Yeah, it's part of his style. Yeah, it's part of his thing. In his Hitchcock Presents, he would always talk. Like it would be physically him talking, kind of talking.
Good evening, that old thing. Yeah.
Murder is back. Yeah, like weird. He's awesome. I love that. I love that stuff. That's part of the Hitchcock charm for me. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right. Now, what does Josh Allred have to say about Psycho? Here's my 2 cents on an Alfred Hitchcock classic. My apologies, it's a bit of a doozy, but you can gloss over stuff you've already mentioned. After the horrific events surrounding Ed Gein gripped the nation, Robert Bloch took them and gave us the character of Norman Bates. While the book is not remarkable, at least to me, what the master of suspense did with it has left a mark on cinema that persists to this day. Psycho is a testament to Hitchcock's abilities and reputation as a director. He took a pay cut to make it because the studio thought that horror was slumming it, but Hitch insisted. We should all be thankful for that. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Oh, yeah.
Slumming it. They still think that. Ugh, nothing changes. Hitchcock loved messing with his audiences, and this film was no exception. In the media campaign for the film, the director himself was featured in ads that were ahead of the times in which he implored audiences to show up on time and not speak about the film after. Try getting that accomplished today. Not going to happen. True, but Drafthouse tried it with Infinity War and Endgame, the whole Thanos demands your silence thing. But Hitchcock did that first.
I'll say, I saw Infinity War and Endgame late. Like 5 days late. And I didn't have one thing ruined for me, which I thought was pretty amazing. I was like, well done, America.
We were going to band together for one thing. I'm glad it was that.
we can band together for that. Yeah, there's plenty of other things I wish we could band together for, but, it's all right.
What he does in this film flew in the face of convention. Before this, you never saw a bathroom in a film or a woman undressing on screen. And he did that because he was in control of almost every aspect of production. A luxury then and an anomaly now. He killed off the protagonist within the first 10 minutes and used Janet Leigh's star power to hook the audience so that when you see her face hit the bathroom floor, you're shocked. Psycho is known as a brutal horror film, but the blood we see is really chocolate syrup, something George Romero used in Night of the Living Dead, and all the gruesome stuff is implied. Also, Bernard Herrmann's score is classic and was even borrowed by Richard Band for Reanimator. It's also borrowed for Carrie. Took me a couple views to figure it out, but it's there. That violin screech has permeated cinema and shows up everywhere. Garth stabbing a donut in Wayne's World comes to mind. It's part of our collective unconscious.
Party on, Wayne.
Just think about that for a second. What modern film has done anything like this? It's all so disposable. We just consume and go on to the next. That's sad, but true.
Yeah.
Unless you think I forgot, I have to talk about the shower scene. It was something that I had to study in film school because of its simplicity and effectiveness. Hitchcock was a student of film and knew about the Kuleshov effect, which states that we derive more meaning from the juxtaposition of images than we do a single picture. And we do, all the time. It also works in parallel sequences on a larger scale, showing two characters and knowing that at some point they're going to come together. He was always subverting expectations and was happy to pull the rug out from under you. Those 78 setups and 52 cuts pass in 45 seconds and it's become one of the most iconic scenes in horror and cinema overall. If you haven't seen it, the documentary 7852 has various film folks waxing lyrical about this sequence and its legacy. Check it out.
Hell yeah.
And that's where I'll end my rant. This is a classic that has earned its place in history and a testament to Alfred Hitchcock as a true artist in the film industry. He understood the medium in the most minute details and exploited them to his gain and made art out of one of the most terrifying moments in American history. 10 out of fucking 10.
Fucking well said. I like that. I like that a lot. Good shit. That's
fantastic. I'm glad we got everybody on this now.
Yeah, that was good stuff there.
And that's all for Psycho. Like I said, I give it a 9 out of 10. Such a classic.
I mean, 3 9s and a 10.
Still holds up.
Come on now, yeah.
This film will always hold up.
Classic.
Now, let's take a look at what happened this week in film, and holy shit was it a lot. In just 1 week, more than we've ever had, so
brace
buckle
yourselves.
Up. First up, let's discuss the one thing that every other movie podcast and website is talking about. Disney lost Spider-Man to Sony. Well, fuck them both, but mainly fuck Sony. If you don't know what happened, Disney tried to haggle for a better deal for Spider-Man in the MCU, but Sony wouldn't have it, and instead of a counteroffer, Sony walked away with the rights to Spider-Man, which they've owned since the late 90s. Marvel's been renting them for about 4
4 years?
3 years now, since 2016.
Yeah. Civil War.
And, yeah. Sony's been getting about 90% of the profits from these movies. And Disney said, we want at least a 50-50 split. Sony politely said, fuck you, and walked away. Now, in Sony's defense, Disney does not need the money. But in Disney's defense, Sony isn't doing shit for their part in this. All they're doing is loaning out the character.
Yeah.
And Marvel wanted to bring Venom into this whole thing. Like, they want their baby back. And Sony is holding that over them. And it's infuriating to fans. Because now we got to say goodbye to Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
That's the key word is fans. It's like, did you guys forget about us? We're the ones who pay $15 each to go see all your movies fucking 3 times a year. So please don't take away one of the key... You said last night, tell them about the cake. Tell them about the cake.
The cake. Okay, so... Let's see if I can remember all this.
The MCU
is
a beautiful cake.
Is this beautiful cake. And you've been eating it for 10 years now. And it's delicious. You love it. Every year it just keeps getting better.
Comfortably. You keep going back to it, yeah.
And they add this incredible ingredient into the cake where it's tasted better than it's ever tasted before. And then one day, forces out of your control say, you can't have that ingredient anymore. That belongs to this other bakery. And you're like, but...
That cake was so damn good.
It was so delicious.
Yeah.
I don't even want to eat this anymore without that ingredient.
Spider-Man's my guy. In the Marvel, Batman's my favorite, but as far as Marvel goes, Spider-Man's my dude. And I have plenty of friends, including my girlfriend. We're obsessed with him. That's our guy. Like, if we could choose one superhero, he's the one we really love. And I feel like a lot of people feel this way, and it's just not fucking fair. And they clearly don't care about us.
They don't.
Clearly.
Both sides.
I'm just offended. Like, and we all should be. We should all. And you see the outrage on social media and stuff of people no, we're not letting this happen. And I really don't think it is. There's no way. Like, they just accomplished the biggest feat in film history with what they do with the MCU. And Tom Holland was literally like icing on the cake. He's literally like, hey, we're going to continue with this guy though. Like, don't worry, he's going to keep coming. He'll be back. And he's had 2 great movies where he carried it, and he's really fucking good at playing Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Yeah. And that might be gone. Fuck. Fuck all.
on the plus side, since this announcement, Sony's points, their stock points have taken a dip.
Yeah.
And people are starting to do boycott hashtags.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance Sony might come back to the table for this. And I hope so, because this should not belong to them. This is Marvel's character. They made this character. They're the reason it's popular.
They implemented him on the go. It's the most impressive thing I think they did. They implemented Spider-Man on the fucking go. And they did it really well. Connor knows I'm not even a huge Marvel fan, but I love what they did with that character, and now I'm just like, oh, wow.
Yeah. It's upsetting.
Great. Unnecessary drama. Unnecessary, help us out, Help us out.
Yeah. I honestly would not be surprised if Disney just said fuck it and bought Sony.
Yeah. Go for it. You guys buy everything in here, go for it. Just do that anyway.
They bought Fox, got the X-Men back.
Yep.
And honestly, just, buy Sony, take Spider-Man.
And maybe Sony knows that. Maybe Sony's like, we know you guys are going to fucking do whatever it takes to keep this thing rolling.
You do not fuck with the House of Mouse.
Oh, no.
They fuck you. That's how Disney works.
Yes, they will scoop you up in no time. Don't
ask
worry.
Fox, ask Star Wars,
Hulu.
ask Marvel, ask Pixar, Hulu. They own everything.
ESPN.
You really think they're sweating bullets over Sony?
Who hasn't done shit yet?
Oh, boy.
And what sucks is Connor and I are 2 of the only people I know that will stick our necks out for fucking Venom, the movie.
Yes.
A lot of people thought it was shit. We actually both kind of liked it. So,
but that's owed to Ruben Fleischer and Tom Hardy, not anybody at fucking Sony.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Heated. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course, both of us were very upset when we heard
the way
this
I see it, this is some low-level coke dealer taking up arms against Pablo Escobar.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
really? You can do it, but do you really think this is going to work out for you?
Yeah, it's just going to be like an extra step for us. Okay, whatever.
So, interested to see how this unfolds. And, yeah, good luck, Sony.
God.
Goddamn.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff.
Next up, The new James Bond film will be titled No Time to Die, and it's set for release on April 8th, 2020. So excited. Huge Bond fan.
Of course. Can't wait.
Christoph Waltz is returning to play Blofeld. Rami Malek is going to be a secondary villain. Daniel Craig, it'll be his final film.
Exactly.
Ralph Fiennes, Ben Whishaw, Naomi Harris, all returning. Léa Seydoux. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I have very high hopes.
Oh, for sure. Michael Rooker has joined the cast of Fast and Furious 9. Sorry.
I don't... Yeah,
he can do better.
They're only on the 9th. I was sworn it was 11 by now.
Technically, it's 10 if you count Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
But Vin Diesel fucking does
I
not.
thought they would be in... Okay.
Yeah. So no Dwayne Johnson, no Jason Statham. So I'm gonna pass on Fast 9.
I'm okay. I've only seen a couple of those all the way through. So.
If you've seen one, you've seen all of them.
Well, one of them that I've seen is Tokyo Drift, and I know that's the
never mind.
Black sheep of the. I've seen that one in the first one, the very first one. Yeah,
the one where they're stealing fucking VCRs.
Like what?
Point Break with cars.
So ridiculous.
Tracy Morgan has joined Coming to America, the sequel to Coming to America. I know that sounds confusing. It's because it is. I'm looking forward to that, but it could fail.
Yeah, it's going to be...
But I'm looking way more forward to the Eddie Murphy's Dolomite movie.
Oh, agreed. And this is more hit or miss to me. I think Dolomite's going to be good. Going to be entertaining.
Eddie Murphy's going to host SNL for the first time in 20 years.
Of course, and I'll tune in for the first time in 10 years.
Nice. The Wachowski sisters have begun work on a fourth Matrix film, with Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss both set to return as Neo and Trinity, respectively. No word yet on Lawrence Fishburne, but I think it's safe to say Morpheus will be back.
Fuck yeah, at least for a few moments, yeah.
And frankly, I don't want it. I don't want a fourth Matrix.
Neither do I. I'm cool with just the one by itself, honestly. So
Keanu's doing fine with John Wick. He doesn't need this.
Yeah, you already had that face.
The Wachowskis desperately need this. But it's going to undermine... the one thing I liked about The Matrix Revolutions was Neo's sacrifice.
Yeah.
Without that, if you do a fourth movie, all that is gone.
Kind of gone to shit.
It's undermined. So I'm wondering how they're going to do this.
I don't know.
And, yeah. Good luck. I'm bitching, but I'm going to see it. We all know that.
You guys have my money.
I'm Hollywood's bitch. I'll admit that.
Same. I mean, yeah, we all of us as a whole.
Richard Williams has died at age 86 of natural causes. He was the animation genius behind the Pink Panther and Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
What a distinct style, worker, creator.
Roger Rabbit, one of my all-time favorite movies. It's such a fun film. If you haven't seen that, go watch it right now.
It's a blast.
It's wonderful.
You won't be disappointed.
Oh, God. Rest in peace, Richard Williams. Another Stephen King story has been greenlit, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. I haven't read this one, so I don't know what to tell you, but it's another Stephen King. It's pretty cool.
So that's awesome. Yeah, add it to the list.
I'll read it. It's a short novel.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a horror. I think it's more of a drama, like a supernatural drama. Next up, this was cool. Vince Gilligan and Netflix have dropped a teaser for El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, set to drop on Netflix on October 12th this year.
What the hell, dude? What kind of a time do we live in?
All we know for sure is that Aaron Paul is returning to play Jesse Pinkman shortly after the finale of Breaking Bad, but be prepared for a shit ton of familiar faces.
Yeah, we know Pete, of course, because he's in the trailer.
This is going to be insane. It's going to be fun. It's going to be satisfying. All the right people are involved, and it's coming out in a month.
Yeah, I know. I'm so glad all these people are involved, because I think Breaking Bad, I've watched a lot of TV shows, so I've seen not enough, to have a serious opinion, but I think Breaking Bad has the best ending of any TV series I've ever watched. And part of that is that Jesse's driveway scene is unbelievable, and it's to this day still something that an episode I love to rewatch, mainly because of Jesse's, when he's getting away and laughing and crying, and he's free for the first time the entire series.
Felina.
And now we get to see his face again. Of course, I'm going to watch it right when it comes out. Yes. I'm going to be wicked excited to see him on the screen again. Well, but I don't know if we need it.
It's true that Jesse is free. He was never a victim of this.
No,
he was complacent from the beginning.
Hits. Yeah.
And he's not innocent. I think people need to be reminded of that. He was a meth dealer who killed a couple people.
For years.
Before he met Walt, he was in this business.
Yeah.
So...
Repping the ABQ, biatch!
Yeah. Leave it at the tone. We're both huge fans of Breaking Bad.
Massive.
But
massive.
I'm very interested to see how Jesse comes out of this, if he comes out of this.
I'm curious because I think Aaron Paul's career has been a travesty since Breaking Bad ended.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if this jolts it back forward. We'll see.
I bet it will.
We'll see.
I mean, if anything, every Breaking Bad fan in the world is going to be breaking Netflix.
Oh my god, yeah. That day, Netflix's numbers are going to be through the roof that day. October 12th. We'll be together watching it. We can't wait. We'll
expect
give
a
you guys,
bonus.
Fuck yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
And expect a long one because we're going to talk about Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Tune in.
Can't wait.
Next up, Anthony Michael Hall has been cast as Tommy Doyle in Halloween Kills.
Hell yeah.
Set for release on October 16th, 2020. Very cool. Tommy Doyle's the kid that Laurie was babysitting in first Halloween, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's so cool.
Wonder where they're going to go with this.
Oh,
They've already started filming it.
I'm fucking in.
Jamie Lee Curtis, David Gordon Green, and John Carpenter all back.
I'm in.
This is going to be unbelievable. We're going to have a full, great Halloween trilogy.
Yeah, so exciting.
Oh, man. Now, for all the Disney Plus announcements at the D23 Expo this week. Black Panther 2 has a confirmed release date of May 6th, 2022. Long way off.
It is.
Kit Harington will be playing the Black Knight in the upcoming Marvel film Eternals. Harington played Jon Snow on all 8 seasons of Game of Thrones.
So he's going to try to break out of that, which everybody's going to always remember him as Jon Snow, by being a Marvel character, which now he'll be remembered as by everybody.
It's funny because Richard Madden, who played Robb Stark on Game of Thrones, is doing the same thing with that movie.
Yeah.
He's also going to be in Eternals.
Crazy.
Nice reunion there. The trailer for the upcoming Star Wars series The Mandalorian was dropped. Looks badass, I think.
Hell yeah.
Very strange cast. Pedro Pascal, Giancarlo Esposito, Werner Herzog. Like, what?
I'm in on that, man.
Nick Nolte. Like, this is going to be nuts. And they have confirmed Ewan McGregor's return to the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi for an upcoming series. No longer a rumor, he is in.
Oh my gosh, that's
so good.
So exciting.
In addition, Marvel has announced 3 more series to be launched on Disney Plus in the next year. Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and Moon Knight.
Hell yeah.
Very out there concepts. Miss Marvel is going to be their first Islamic superhero. She-Hulk is Hulk's cousin who gets powers through a blood transfusion, which you'd think Bruce Banner, knowing who he is, would try to avoid that kind of thing.
But I guess we'll see how they do that, yeah.
Moon Knight is a psycho... It's like schizophrenic Egyptian Batman, so that's going to be nuts.
That's the one I'm looking forward to most, yeah, of course.
Very excited.
But that I am as excited as I could possibly be for a Star Wars content is because Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
So I'm getting basically a mini-series with him? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So
very excited.
Got to see that in Fargo Season 3. I'm excited to see it again with a Star Wars character with a lot of money behind it. Super cool.
Very cool. And we'll finally get some follow-up to that Darth Maul tease from Solo that's not going anywhere.
Yes, dude.
And what I like about the Marvel stuff is Feige has said that all of these characters will be appearing in Avengers films in the future.
Yeah.
It's all tied with the MCU. There's no separate universe like there was with Netflix. This is all connected.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, all that Netflix stuff is now looked at kind of like,
yeah, I guess it's not canon anymore.
What the fuck was all that?
That's why Mahershala Ali can play Blade now. And
yep.
He was Cottonmouth on Luke Cage, but nobody cares anymore because none of that's canon.
I don't think anyone really did care anyway.
Nah. It was... How did they fuck that all up?
I don't know. I really don't. Luke Cage should have been amazing.
I liked most of the first season. I thought Cottonmouth was amazing.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's great, yeah. Some of Jessica Jones is really good.
Dude, Kilgrave. I'll never forget Kilgrave.
I
loved D'Onofrio's Kingpin.
Yeah.
John Berthal's Punisher. Like, there were pieces I loved of those shows.
Yeah.
But overall, it was too many episodes.
Well, way too much to keep up with.
Too much filler.
And you didn't know it was, like, the order and with what it was in was like, what? It didn't make sense.
They bet way too much on the hand, which ended up being such a disappointment.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Frustrating stuff.
I look back on that with such disdain now.
But now we get our proper
and
due here.
Hopefully Marvel, once the Netflix time thing is up, they'll be able to reintroduce Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage, all those guys.
Yes.
So here's hope. And whew, that's all for this week, listeners. It was a long week for film. God damn.
I said, God damn.
Psycho is a classic, and it deserves all the praise.
Hell yeah.
Check it out if you haven't. Even though you know the twist, it's still worth watching.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. There's stuff in here that it's just like, it excels like one scene to the next because the intensity is just on the rise. And, and so much fun.
It's remarkable. Next week, Travel with us to the small town of Derry, Maine, where kids are disappearing at the hands of an evil clown named Pennywise. That's right, listeners, get ready to float with It, one of Stephen King's scariest stories and one of the best horror films of the decade. We'll talk about the 2017 film as well as the 1990 miniseries and some of the weirder aspects of the novel that didn't make it to the film. Readers know exactly which scene I'm talking about. Also, we can pretty much guarantee a bonus episode on It Chapter 2, set for release on Friday, September 6th. Until then, folks, steer clear of the Bates Motel. And remember, a boy's best friend is his mother.